All right, 6:30 Friday, November 5th. Welcome in for another safety focus of the week. This week's code of conduct is don't overpromise or underdeliver. Mr. Dow, do you have anything to add on our code item this week?
This one kind of speaks for itself, but it's important for us and the managers to understand this too. We don't want to. This one's cool because it's for everybody. You know, if you say you're going to be somewhere, be there. If you're not going to make it, make sure to let people know. But also, don't overpromise what you're going to get done in a day, because we're going to cross safety lines, or we're either not going to hit the deadline, or somebody's going to get hurt because we're not going to think it out. So think about it before you commit to something. Give yourself another couple of minutes to kind of think it out and reason it out, and that goes in well with our whole risk assessment process that we have. So I guess that's a little bit expounded a little bit on it.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. So safety news, we did another 7 days without a recordable injury. Excellent job. This week we did have a lot of kind of near misses, close contacts. So let's really try to focus in on doing that really good risk assessment each morning, identifying our hazards and figuring out the best practice to help eliminate those potential hazards. And in lieu of that, those types of hazards, what is kind of getting us a little bit is housekeeping. As the tail end of the season comes, the mud season's here, seems to get a little bit harder to keep our sites clean and organized. So just wanted to really highlight some good housekeeping and some best practices. Again, always try to find those unsafe conditions such as slips and trip hazards. So identify them, mark them out, try to make sure we have good egress in and out of our excavations and our trenches or any really uneven grade changes on our sites. Store and stack materials properly. Again, it sometimes get hard, especially when you have a lot of different construction material on your site, but try to have a good plan ahead of where you want things stored and kept on site. Keep our walking paths clear of debris, tools, and equipment. Again, we shouldn't be stepping over extension cords, walking over 2x4s, rebar, stuff like that. So let's have designated paths that are clear, free from any trip hazards. Properly store all of our chemicals. Again, we want to make sure that our flammables are away from any propane and things like that, and other things are kept under in dry conditions so we don't potentially have spills or contamination issues on sites. Clean up your work area and the job site daily. That's a very important one. Is, you know, before you close out for the shift, just button up everything good and tight, making sure everything is put away in a neatly order. So when you show up the next day, it is a nice, safe working condition for you. And then the last, this is kind of a highlight since we're doing a lot of rebar or a lot of concrete work right now, is just try to remember those rebar caps on all of our vertical exposed rebars. You know, when we don't have those caps on, it is an unsafe condition, and you have impalement issues there if someone falling or slipping and falling onto rebar. We're doing an excellent job, so it's not really a highlight, something that we have to change, but it's just a friendly reminder of rebar caps in all of our rebar, please. I have a little photo here of the guys over in Plattsburgh. It's just they did an excellent job. I was on site yesterday. As you can see, you have the cages there. Everything has a place. It's kind of like I'm trying to highlight here. So the frames for all the forms, everything is stacked, the lumber stack. You got clear pathways to and around our job site. So this is a nice kind of an image of a nice, well-kept project regarding to housekeeping. So good housekeeping is the key to safety. Cleanliness, orderliness, a place for everything are essential of safety. So have a plan when you're coming, you know, for housekeeping is what I want to highlight here today. With that said, Ken, if you have anything to add on good housekeeping, if not, take it away.
No, I'm good. You hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll switch screens.
Do it.
Let's see. Trying to find the right one. Thought I had this open differently. I still can't open this in the browser. We have to check with Constant Contact, I guess. Do you see just the email now? Did it switch screens again, or do I have to reset it?
We see your Outlook inbox with the email
Yeah,
on it.
let me redo that. Okay, is that just the email?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Quite a few announcements today. Congratulations to Carter Wright, our new trenchless support technician. So Carter's certainly he is, I would say, our most skilled overall locator and jack of all trades when it comes to the technician support stuff. And daylight savings time begins this weekend, November 7th. That's Sunday morning, early morning. So make sure you fall back, right? And then open enrollment is ongoing right now, and that's for our health, dental, accidental life, accident, critical illness. And then we have a summary which is linked here for the health and dental care. And just the good news is there's no cost or deductible increases to healthcare program for this coming year. There's a slight increase by a few pennies a week on dental. And there's an attachment here that's a summary. I'm not going to go into detail, especially since there's really no significant change, so nothing to explain here other than the way we operate now. The open enrollment is from the 1st to the 30th of November, and you need to see Scott Dean for more information in our front administration office, and he's got a phone number here, and he'll explain the details of it if you're new to the program or if you have questions. And cold nights are here to stay, I think. We need to start treating fuel with the diesel fuel supplement. That's the white container. My images aren't coming through. Let's see. Why is that?
Can you click on the little image area there?
No, it's.
Ken, do you want me
in
to take
browser.
over and I'll just scroll down? Would that be easiest?
Yeah, let me do a quick. Probably needed to. I don't know why it's not showing up. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and take over, Matt.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
That's kind of cool. It's a dark background on Matt's.
Yeah, I like that. So, okay, Walter passed away last weekend, and we were certainly very saddened by his passing. He was one of our colleagues who's been here for 13 years, since May of 2008. He was a reliable, respected, hard worker, and he'd fit into any crew. So, Walter's obituary was not ready by the time we published this email, so we'll pass it along for next week, and we'll probably have it posted on the bulletin board. So, Ben, do you want to say anything?
Yeah. I was with Walt's family yesterday. I went up to help him out with a few things, and all of you that know his unique personality and the way he got along with everyone, it was really cool to meet his three children. Phoebe, she's 21. She's got a baby of her own, very responsible person, but all three of the kids, Phoebe being 21, Chaos is 13. Kind of looked a little bit like Chaos, but he had a good haircut like me. So I thought that was cool. And Chaos wants everybody to know that when he gets old enough, he wants to do what his dad did, and he wants to work at ECI. And I happen to have some ECI t-shirts in the back of my truck, and those kids munched them up quick. They want more. I think Walter really maybe gave them a really good work ethic, because the even the youngest said she might work at ECI too. Great personalities, great kids, and you definitely knew they were Walter's kids. Very respectful, but fun to be with. And they were all going out to do some shopping, and they were going to have dinner together as just the three kids last night, which was cool. So the things that I remember of Walter, he always had a good sense of humor. He was always a really good. He got along with everyone. He was a great communicator, and that's important to have somebody like that on your crew, especially the guy that's always at the front line of the work. You get to the job, and you could always figure out what was happening because you look for Walter's back with his ECI vest, and you'd say, "Oh, there's Walter," and he's always bolting the pipe together or putting the solar panel together. He's always at the front line, checking the bolts, making sure the torque is right, and making sure we don't have a leak. He was always honest with everyone and dependable. Um, he was always really good at what he did because I think he had just that strong attention to detail and that ability to get along with everybody. So I think it's because of all these things that he was just so well trusted and respected by everyone, and we're going to miss him. He exemplified our code of conduct in every way. I don't think I ever had dealt. He's the one person that worked here for 13 years. I don't know if I ever had to deal with an issue that he ever had with anyone. He always kind of took care of all that stuff himself. He wasn't as big on technology as some of the younger people are, but he always figured out a way to let us know when he wasn't going to be here if he had something come up. And a lot of times it might be his mom calling or someone else, but he always got word to us. I don't think he ever did a no-show, no-call the whole time he was here. So I think one way we can keep his memory alive is just promote our code of conduct, because I think that he was probably the one person that I can say is on the high score list on hitting all those code items. There will be a service a week from today. We'll get the obituary and we'll get all that out to you. We should have that available by Monday. And next Friday up at Heald's Funeral Home in St. Albans at 11 o'clock, they're going to begin a 1 hour visiting time with the family. And that'll be from 11 to 12 noon. And then the plan is they're going to have a service right there at Heald's at noontime next Friday. So I think we'll be able to talk about that more this week once it gets further solidified and we get information. We're going to make sure we get everybody in the know about that, because I think it's important that we start planning ahead for next Friday, because I think it would be good to have a good representation of the people that respected him, and I think that'll mean a lot to his mom, Donna, his brother, Randy, who also used to work here, and his kids and the rest of the family. So we'll keep you posted.
We'll push out that information by constant contact like we're doing right now.
I think that'll be great, Ken.
Okay.
Yep. So he'll be
Thanks,
missed.
Ben. Okay, Breast Cancer Awareness Month is done, and we but it's really Sarah in Alberta raised $4,387. So great job, congratulations to them. We're very proud. Everyone's proud to wear pink too, so, and myself included. Weather outlook, we actually have some kind of milder, better, sunnier weather for the next several days, which is good. We're due, and it was a wet start last weekend, and we'll actually have good weather, and it'll carry through to the week. For the COVID, we're at 90.5% in the state vaccinated, so that's pretty cool that we've got that much commitment from people trying to prevent the problems, and it is really getting pretty bad right now, right, Matt? As far as COVID is, like the numbers are higher than they've ever been here in Vermont. So protect yourselves.
Yeah, today or yesterday they announced like 485 new cases. A little bit was a big dump at once, but again, we got to really, everybody needs to do their part.
Yeah, right now is critical, I think, and it seems they keep saying, we all keep thinking, oh, we're past the peak, but it's like we're not there yet. So be careful out there.
Yep.
So the project we're highlighting this week is the rock slope stabilization at 458 Hurricane Lane in Williston, and we're contracted with the owners of the property at 458. The building is a large warehouse for outdoor gear manufacturer Mammoth. The existing rock slope consists of a dry stack shot rock. Dry stack is kind of really overstating what it really is, as you'll see in the pictures. Placed against a soil slope at the southwest corner of the warehouse, the building was constructed less than 5 feet from the rock wall for a distance of about 25 feet along the south wall at the southwest corner. It really didn't get too much further away, but it was more clear of the building as you get further away. Certainly no way to build something. Wall movement since construction had reduced the gap to as little as 32 inches in one area, and one small rock, I say small, had recently fallen against the building. The tight quarters were especially constraining on the access and the stabilization system. So our repair consisted of, the first thing was to go in there and stabilize the boulders with 3/4 inch rebar pins that we drilled and stitched into the loose boulders and in through to the underlying boulders to improve stability and lock them together for better and safe access, and also for long-term stability. We did some shotcrete dental work. We did a layer of unreinforced concrete. Some places I think we reinforced a little bit to glue the loose boulders together to further improve the temporary and permanent stability. We had an anchored grade beam with a retainer wall. An existing wall, meaning the block or the shot rock wall, appeared to have bulged out at the bottom. So the grade beam was provided to resist the horizontal forces at the toe of the slope from further movement towards the building. And hollow bar rock dowels were drilled vertically into the underlying bedrock to resist these sliding forces that were resisting. And the grade beam was topped with a retainer wall to catch any sliding boulders from above. And then finally, we put in a Teco mesh drape. It's like a chain link fence type material. And the final layer of restraint was installed at the end and sloped over the loose rock to keep any falling rock from hitting the building, tumbling into the building. Advance the slide, Matt. There we go. You can kind of see where we started when we started. That's like 32 inches right there from that rock to the siding, which is way too close for anyone to put a building, obviously. That boulder, it's laying on the ground, had actually fallen previously. So we came up with this plan, and this is a sketch of it with the, you can see what we're trying to achieve here is to resist more sliding towards the building, and also to pin the boulders together and put that drape on there. And you'll see in the picture below when we get further that we made another further improvement. So this is when we first arrived at the site, and then upon looking at the site and clearing it, the vegetation had, died back a little bit by September. And we saw in the next slide here how around the corner was also less stable than we felt comfortable with. So we ended up shotcreting in there to stabilize that zone that was kind of precarious looking. And the shotcrete forms a nice glue which locks in the boulders, at least for the short term. In the long term, maybe it would break down from freeze thaw cycles, but in the short term it creates a nice locked in glue system to maintain stability. Next slide. It's just before we drilled the anchors. The boulders, you can't really tell, but they are pinned together. Some of them, the ones that we could and that made sense to. And you can see how close we really are. There's a different perspective on how close we are to the wall there. So we used the man-portable drill, which is in the next slide, to drill the soil nails, or really they're a pile in this case. So they're a hollow bar pile. And you see there's no room to get any equipment around the corner or anything. So it was all by this man-portable unit. Next slide. And here we are once we got the wall in, the retaining wall in and everything, and clearly not much room to strip forms or anything, but we managed to get that retaining wall in because that was a key part to lock in everything. Next slide. And then we actually ended up using concrete backfill in there to help lock in that lower area as well. So we filled with concrete there on the back side of the retainer wall. And you see there's some shotcrete there that was also shows up at the corner there to where in areas where we stabilize. We stabilize a fair amount in there. It's just not as obvious at that upper view. Next slide. And then you see here we have the Teco mesh, which is draped over the rock and then locked down onto the top of the retainer wall. And then the final slide shows kind of the completed work, more or less like we had proposed, and not going to get in there again. It's pretty tight, so that just goes to show you don't ever put a building so close to any kind of slope that you can't get in there. So a comment I have at the bottom of the shotcrete can be an effective way to provide temporary stabilization of a rubble wall face. We've used it in another project since over in Jericho. And check with myself or Ben McKinney if you have a need for this type of stabilization. And on to the archive photo of the week. Here we are, and we're in Shaftesbury, Vermont, on the Vermont Railway doing a culvert relining project. And you can see especially in the top left, that we shotcreted that stone arch culvert to provide stability so we could get in there and work. So it is a really useful type of stability improvement for probably a lot of different purposes. We actually use it at the Jericho Mill, which is ongoing. We shotcreted the soil face, and so when we excavate to cut our grade down, the material presumably won't slide into the river. We'll be able to excavate on the upland side with this face. We'll be able to excavate and roll the pieces of shotcrete down. That's our plan anyway, so that it doesn't kind of kick out and ravel down to the river. So it's kind of a containment thing as well. So that's what I got. We'll catch you guys later, and be safe out there. Enjoy the sun. Hopefully everyone will get lots of stuff done this weekend at home, and be safe out there again.
Well
See you,
said,
Matt.
Ken. Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
Yep.